Hi students, welcome back to the reproductive system. The next one that we'll be doing is on the female reproductive system. Okay, so as mentioned earlier on, this is part 2 of a 5-part series of video lectures. Okay, so each of the 5-part series, they are equally important, so you'll be required to look through the notes in terms of what is being required for identification of the anatomical structures, etc. Okay, so looking at the female reproductive system, you can see that you have got a simplified version that is of the front view itself. Okay, so in the front view itself, let's start from the top. Every female is born with eggs which will undergo maturation during puberty, starting off with the first menstrual period that is being experienced. So what these eggs are called in biological terms, these are called your ovaries. So every month, one ovary will undergo maturation and it will then enter into the oviduct. Upon entering into the oviduct itself, if there is fertilization, it will be implanted into the uterus lining at this area. Okay, so during fertilization itself, once fertilized, it will be implanted. So once it is implanted, after 9 months of gestation period, which means the baby is being developed in the womb itself, the cervix opening will then enlarge, which will enable the baby to be delivered out via the vagina region. Okay, so looking at the side view here, so the same thing, we have got the oviduct here. Alright, so upon maturation, it will then enter into the oviduct funnel, this opening, go through the oviduct itself, and then subsequently it will be implanted into the uterine lining region. Okay, the uterine lining region is also otherwise known as the endometrium. So once developed, the baby or the fetus itself will be delivered out via the cervix opening and through the vagina. Okay, now one different thing about the female and male reproductive system, other than the structural anatomical difference, is that in females, the uterus and the urethra as well as the ureter, they are separated regions. Okay, so recall that in males themselves, the urethra will be removing out both the urine and the sperm cells, the semen itself. Alright, now however for females, the female itself, the urethra and the vagina are two separate locations. Okay, so excretion will still take place via the urethra. Why? Because the ureter, which links to the kidneys for the excretory system, is also connected to the urethra, in which urine is excreted out. Okay, the vagina is mainly to pass out the monthly menstruation blood and also for delivery of the fetus in the event that there is fertilization. So the rectum and the anus themselves, they are located at the back, similar to the males. So the rectum do temporary storage of solid waste products, and the anus would ingest them out to the surroundings. Okay, so rectum and anus, it is covered under the digestive system component. Okay, so these are some of the main structures of the female reproductive system. Okay, so as mentioned earlier on, we will just go through this. So we have got the ovaries. Okay, so two sides will have the ovaries, and the egg or an ovum is being released out every month. So the males have the hormone called testosterone. Females, they have the hormone estrogen and progesterone. So once the eggs or the ovum is being released out, it will enter into the oviduct. The oviduct, it is also the location of fertilization. Okay, so if there is fertilization, the sperm cells, the sperm itself will fertilize the ovum along the oviduct. Okay, not at the uterus, but along the oviduct. Okay, so the uterus main purpose, it is known as the womb, and that is for implantation of fertilized egg. So as the fertilized egg gets implanted, the endometrium will continue to grow. Okay, once implanted, it will continue to grow, and that will give the growing fetus nourishment and essential components that is required. Okay, so what happens when there is no growth or there is no fertilization? This particular endometrium lining will then shed in the absence of menstruation. Okay, so imagine if there is fertilization, the cervix will then open up, widen up to enable the fetus to be delivered through it and into the vaginal region. Okay, so what are the main differences between the sperm cell and the egg cell? Okay, the main obvious difference in terms of physical, that will be the size. Okay, male gametes, they are extremely small, and which is why they have to be ejaculated, that means released out in millions of numbers in order to travel all the way up into the oviduct for fertilization. So since it has to travel, they need to be motile, which means they have to be able to move, and that is made possible due to the presence of the flagellum, which is the biological term for the tail. Okay, so comparatively, only one ovum is being released every month, so the egg size is also much larger. Okay, so the eggs themselves do not move, unlike the sperm cell, so they are generally non-motile. Okay, so the next part of the video that we'll be doing is the menstrual cycle, which will cover how the endometrium lining thickens and sheds in the lack of fertilization. Thank you for watching.